I'm hardly able to move because of my size. So most of the day I can't even get up from my chair. And when I do, I'm not able to go far.
This is Jeanne, a 39-year-old woman who is so large she is essentially a prisoner in her own living room. Forget walking to the bathroom. She has a portable toilet right next to her armchair, and even then, she needs her own mother to come and help her with basic hygiene. Such a level of dependency. This is a complete shutdown of a human life. She is nearly 40 years old and is being cared for like an infant, all while her body is physically breaking down. It is an absolutely pathetic state of existence.
And after that was when I finally had the courage to start telling my mom some of the things that had happened to me.
I was away from home 13 hours a day.
And of course, there's always a story behind the story. This peels back the layers and we learn about Jeanne's absolutely horrific childhood. We're talking about abuse from her own grandmother, who would allegedly beat her with metal coat hangers, and then a traumatic assault by her mother's boyfriend. It is a really sad story, and it shows just how these deep, early life traumas can lead to the most destructive coping mechanisms. Food became her only escape, the only thing that made her feel better when the world was a terrifying place. This is the clinical explanation for how a person becomes so broken they eat themselves toward an early grave.
Now I just want a cigarette and I want to try to calm down because I'm getting really anxious.
Get me a soda, a really big one, please. I need something with sugar to help my nerves.
I'm in so much pain right now. I don't know how I'm going to make it 3 more hours.
After the ordeal of just getting into the car, Jeanne is immediately triggered by people looking at her at a gas station. She spirals into a rage, hating the world. And what is her immediate coping mechanism? What does she demand her mother do? Not comfort her? Not talk her down? No. She demands her mom go inside and buy her a large soda because her nerves are shot. Her solution to emotional distress is to immediately request the very poison that is killing her, and her mother seems ready to comply. This dynamic right here is the entire problem in a nutshell, a cycle of crisis and reward.
We eat a lot of oranges, a lot of lean meat, and that's about it.
That all sounds healthy. From everything you both are telling me, there's no reason Jeanne should be anywhere close to the weight she's at.
Dr. Now, the only voice of reason in this entire show, enters. He listens to Jeanne and her mother describe her diet of lean meats and oranges, and you can practically see the smoke coming out of his ears. He isn't buying it for a second. He immediately calls them out, stating the obvious: you don't get to be over 700 pounds by eating healthy. He flatly tells Jeanne she is lying about what she eats and that her mother is enabling her. The message is simple. Dr. Now knows this is a game of deception and self-pity, and he is the one person who refuses to play along with their toxic script.
How's that possible? I knew my mom and I made all the changes and worked really hard, so I can't really explain it, but I'm scared because I have to get weight loss surgery before it's too late.
After being hospitalized, where she was on a controlled diet and lost a significant amount of weight, Jeanne goes home. Her one and only job was to continue that progress. So what happens at her next weigh-in? Does she meet her goal? Does she even come close? She has gained 29 pounds. She didn't just fail, she actively sabotaged herself and went backward. This isn't a simple mistake or a slight miscalculation. This is a monumental act of defiance against the one person trying to save her life. It's pure self-destruction, and she looks genuinely shocked by the number. Unbelievable.
You were given the same goal as the first time, to lose 100 pounds in 2 months.
Yes, sir.
Instead, you lost 8 pounds. The only positive with that is that at least you didn't gain.
Jeanne comes in for another hospital appointment, and here goes the excuse parade. When Dr. Now confronts her about gaining a staggering amount of weight, she doesn't take responsibility. Instead, she immediately pulls out the sympathy card. First, she blames the pain from the lump on her side, claiming it was too painful to be active. Then, she pivots and blames the stress of her mother's own health complications. It is a masterclass in deflection. Her reaction is a desperate attempt to find any external reason for her failure so she doesn't have to face the truth. She is emotionally weaponizing her own family's health issues to avoid accountability for her own actions.
That's starting to get infected and is opening up. And if it does that, then your intestine will be exposed. So that is a serious issue that could be life-threatening for you.
Dr. Now has finally had enough. Seeing that both Jeanne and her mother are riddled with dangerous infections due to sheer neglect, he takes the final option. He doesn't just scold them, he has them both admitted to the hospital immediately. He tells Jeanne that her body simply cannot handle any more stress and that her mother's condition is also becoming life-threatening. This isn't a negotiation anymore. He is stripping them of their control because their dysfunction is literally killing them. He lays it out cold. This is her absolute last chance, and from now on, she will be sent to therapy to deal with her manipulative behavior.
Hi, this is Lola.
Hi, this is Jeanne Covey.
Hi, Jeanne. So let me start by saying I'm so sorry for the loss of your father.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
In the aftermath of her father's tragic death, Jeanne gets a call from a therapist, Lola, who offers a final compassionate lifeline. Lola validates her feelings, explains the grieving process, and encourages her to allow herself to feel the emotions instead of burying them. This is it, the moment of potential breakthrough, the last chance to pivot toward healing. But the commentary must remain deeply skeptical. Is Jeanne truly listening, or is she just hearing what she needs to hear to justify her next move? The therapist is offering a roadmap out of the darkness, but all signs point to Jeanne having already decided to turn back and stay right where she is.
I appreciated her call and what she was saying, but no one really understands how hard this is and how much it hurts. My mom and I lost our whole world.
And there it is, the tragic conclusion we all saw coming. Jeanne confirms she has quit. She's not going back to Houston, she's abandoning the program, and she's rationalizing the whole thing by saying she has to accept her circumstances. What a complete and utter waste of an opportunity. After all the medical intervention, the second chances, and the confrontations, she chooses to retreat back into the comfort of her dysfunction. She frames it as if she has no choice, but the truth is plain. She is unwilling to do the work. The door was opened for her, and she willingly chose to close it.
My body's giving up on me and I hate it. If I move too fast, I might fall or hurt myself. So it's all slow movement. I have to get help with pretty much everything now.
Patrick's situation is an immediate cry for help. His day begins with the agonizing task of just getting out of bed, a process so painful and draining that his body is already at its limit. This isn't just about being overweight, it is about being imprisoned. We witness the humiliation of him needing his wife, Amanda, to assist him with the most basic hygiene in the shower. He is a grown man completely dependent on his spouse for tasks he should be able to do himself. It's a slow, agonizing deterioration, and you can see the despair in his eyes.
Then around the time I was 8, my dad had a series of heart attacks, so he retired early and our family moved to Marion County, Georgia. My dad's health declined and he wasn't able to do so much.
And here we get to the root of the pain. Patrick opens up about the devastating loss of his father, an event that he says left a massive hole in his heart. How did he cope? The only way his family knew how, with food. You can draw a straight line from that childhood grief to the man we see today. Food wasn't just for sustenance. It became his comfort, his way of feeling a connection to the father he lost. It was the only tool he was ever given to deal with unbearable emotional pain. To fix the body, you have to first confront the past, and his is soaked in sorrow.
Corn dogs and tater tots good for you?
Sounds good to me. You gonna cook the corn dogs in the oven?
Yes, sir.
They're looking good, babe. I'm unhappy being this big. If I don't lose weight, I feel like in a year or 2 years, it'll wind up killing me.
The home environment is a textbook case of toxic codependence. What's for dinner in the Macon household as Patrick embarks on this life or death journey? Corn dogs and tater tots. His wife Amanda and daughter Haley are right there, participating in this routine. They think they are showing love and providing comfort, but every plate of processed, fried food is another nail in his coffin. This isn't malice. It's a deeply ingrained family culture where food equals affection. He is trapped not just by his addiction, but by a loving family that doesn't know how to stop enabling him toward an early grave.
I want a number 9, want it large size. Then I want another number 9, no pickles. I want it large sized with a sweet tea, regular side of red beans and rice.
This is the reality of addiction. On the road trip to Houston, a journey meant to save his life, Patrick orders an absolutely gargantuan fast food feast as his last hurrah. We're talking multiple meals, with extra sides. He justifies it as one final indulgence before the diet begins. But it's a classic addict's move, a final desperate binge before facing withdrawal. This is his first stumble, and he hasn't even met the doctor yet. The old habits are a powerful enemy, and this scene proves that the battle ahead is going to be incredibly difficult. The question is, will he he learn from it?
You have known what you're doing to yourself. Do you understand that you're going to have to change your eating habit? Are you willing to do that?
Yes.
Okay. Amen. Should I believe him?
If you show me how to do it, and it'll get done.
And in comes Doctor. Now, the singular voice of truth in a room full of denial. Patrick tries to explain his eating habits, and Dr. Now isn't having any of it. He immediately cuts through the excuses and identifies the core problem. Everyone in the family is an enabler. When he asks who buys the junk food, Amanda sheepishly admits she does. Dr. Now sees the pattern perfectly. The patient, the enablers, and the addiction all feeding into one another. For the first time, someone is telling Patrick the unvarnished truth, not what he wants to hear, and it's the harsh wake-up call that just might save his life.
And what are you going to do to prevent that?
I'm gonna stay on diet and eat like I'm supposed to, and I'm gonna lose more weight. Tell me when you want me back and how much weight you want me to lose, and I'll be back, and I'll...
Patrick appears to be doing a really great job at comprehending all that Dr. Now is saying without getting defensive, considering that he has, as a matter of fact, lost some weight. According to the plan, he should have lost more. But in this context, something is better than nothing at all. Patrick is willing to go back home and put in more work, and Dr. Now is willing to give him more time, setting a different goal for his patient. Dr. Now is pleased with his patient for making an effort to show after he missed an appointment.
What I'm willing to do at this point, I will schedule your weight loss surgery for a month from now. And if you lose 30 pounds in 1 month, then I'll move ahead and do your operation.
After a series of failures, setbacks, and tantrums, Dr. Now lays down the ultimate challenge. He tells Patrick that he will schedule the surgery, but on one condition: he must lose another 30 pounds in 1 month. If he fails, the surgery is canceled and he's sent home. Dr. Now isn't giving up on him. He's challenging him to finally show up for his own life. The excuses are over. The second chances have run out. Patrick has to prove, once and for all, that he is truly ready for the tool that can save him.
563, so you lost 27 pounds, huh? All right, close enough. All right, we'll go ahead and do surgery, okay?
Okay.
All right, let's get you back and do it.
This is the final weigh-in before the scheduled surgery. The tension is off the charts. Did he lose the required 30 pounds? The scale settles, and he's lost 27. He missed the goal. For a second, your heart just sinks. But then, Dr. Now delivers the verdict: it's close enough. What a relief. He didn't just get lucky, he fought for every single one of those pounds. And even though he fell slightly short, he proved his commitment. He earned this. The surgery is the starting gate for the rest of his life, a reward he truly worked for.
Because it was always one of me and Amanda's favorite things to do together. But we haven't done it in forever since I got too huge to do anything. So it feels really good to be getting back to the basics of what we love to do together.
What an incredible transformation. A year ago, Patrick was a prisoner in his own home, struggling to even stand. Now he's out at a lake, going fishing with his wife, and enjoying a life he thought was lost forever. He went through the fire, faced his demons, stumbled multiple times, but he never gave up. He reclaimed a life that was nearly stolen by trauma and food addiction. The person he was is fading, and in his place is a survivor. For the first time in a very long time, his future is entirely his own. This is a true new lease on life, and it is absolutely inspiring to see.
Bathing is a very extensive process because of how hard it is to get to all the areas of my body. We wash the lower part of my stomach and underneath it in my bed.
Joyce's situation is a pathetic one. She's a prisoner in her own home, so immobile that she hasn't been outside in over 3 years. Her caretaker, Dawn, has to help her with every single basic function, from getting out of bed to using a portable toilet right next to where she sleeps. The daily hygiene routine is a full-blown operation involving washing in stages and using a hairdryer to prevent infections in her skin folds. This isn't just a difficult life, it's a complete and total shutdown of human dignity and autonomy. The sheer logistics of her existence are mind-boggling from the very start.
When I was 8, my mom and stepdad left my stepbrother to babysit me. I went to sleep and I woke up with him sitting on my bed and he was rubbing my back. And that is the initial memory that I had for years upon years upon years.
Joyce has repressed memories of being assaulted by her stepbrother as a child. This trauma is presented as the psychological poison that has fueled her addiction for decades. Instead of processing the horror, she buried it under layers of food until it became an unbearable weight, both literally and figuratively. When she finally tried to tell her mother about it during an argument, the revelation was lost in the heat of the moment, leaving the wound to fester. It is a tragic backstory that provides the clinical reason for why she is so fundamentally broken and reliant on food to numb her pain.
Sometimes when I see Joyce eating large amounts of food, I'm livid. I'm just livid. But I'm really always really fearful. I live in a lot of fear.
Joyce's mother shows up, and what does she bring? A massive tray of lasagna. She then proceeds to lament how angry it makes her to watch Joyce eat so much, all while serving her a gigantic portion of the very food she brought. This is sabotage with a side of passive aggression. Her mother is the quintessential enabler, fueling the addiction with one hand while wagging her finger with the other. Joyce is trapped in a toxic cycle where the people who claim to care for her are also the ones handing her the shovel to dig her own grave.
All right. Now that we got you inside, you feeling okay?
Feeling much better now.
Do you have any pain anywhere?
Just a little bit, like residual pain from being in pain for so long.
Dr. Now enters the scene, and he is not playing games. During their very first conversation, Joyce is already complaining about being hungry. Dr. Now, with his signature bluntness, immediately shuts it down, telling her she's eaten enough for the next 3 years. He sees right through her self-pity and identifies the real immediate threat. Her health is so poor that she had to be hospitalized instantly. He's the only one who refuses to indulge her fantasies. He is laying down the law, making it clear that her life is on the line and that her games and excuses will not work in his program.
This much activity is really hard on my body, and I don't think Dr. Now understands that and just how much this is for me. But I don't know if I can do a whole lot more because this is really painful and I feel like I'm about at my limit.
Joyce is in the hospital, a controlled environment where she's making progress. But when it's time for physical therapy, the very thing she needs to regain her life, she completely shuts down. She refuses to cooperate, complains about the pain, and acts as if the therapists are torturing her. This is a pure act of defiance. She's being given the tools to save herself, and her immediate reaction is to resist. It's a classic display of an addict fighting against the very process that could lead to recovery. Her mind is so set on being a victim that she can't see an opportunity for what it is, framing help as an attack.
Here, having it hang low and not have my legs up more frequently like I usually do.
So you say you gained 60 pounds of water on a car right here because you're sitting up? That's not reality.
This is it, people. The peak of manipulative theater. After being confronted by Dr. Now for gaining a staggering 58 pounds, Joyce realizes her excuses aren't working. So what does she do? She launches into a full-blown medical emergency, claiming she's having a heart attack. She becomes hysterical, says she feels dizzy, and insists her body is shutting down, demanding to be taken to the hospital. It is an absolutely transparent, shameless performance designed to do one thing: evade accountability. She can't face the consequences of her failure, so she creates a crisis to make herself the victim and escape the conversation.
I want to get you a medical transport to do it, okay?
Okay, that's fair.
And then I want you to come back to see me at the clinic without medical transport in 1 month.
Dr. Now has seen enough. After Joyce's dramatic performance in his office and the subsequent hospital visit that revealed nothing was wrong, he delivers the nuclear option. He tells her she is playing games and that he is done with her excuses. He gives her a final, brutal ultimatum. She has 1 month to lose 50 pounds, and she has to get to his office on her own without an ambulance. If she fails, she is out of the program for good. This isn't just a warning, it's an expulsion. He has completely washed his hands of her situation.
That's how I was socialized. And so I think even though I've worked really hard on myself and I'm calmer than I've ever been, she's like really much more calmer than I am as a person. I'm not.
Here is the last flickering chance for a breakthrough. Joyce and her mother attend a therapy session, and the therapist creates the perfect space for Joyce to finally confront her mother about the years of neglect and the trauma she endured. But what does Joyce do with this golden opportunity? Absolutely nothing. She fumbles it completely, saying she holds no grudges and just wants to move forward. She is so terrified of disrupting the codependent dynamic that she chooses to keep her pain buried rather than risk a real, honest conversation. This moment seals her fate. It proves she is fundamentally unwilling to do the emotional work necessary for recovery.
And there's not much more I can do for you. After a year of trying, you haven't lost anything. So at this point, it's clear you don't really want to do this.
I just don't think you understand how hard this has been for me and that I've been working really, really hard at it.
And here we have the grand finale of delusion. At her final weigh-in, Joyce has gained another 11 pounds. When Dr. Now confronts her, she doesn't just make excuses. Instead, she declares that his program has failed her. She insists she did everything right and that the diet is simply wrong for her body. It's a staggering display of narcissism and a complete refusal to accept reality. Dr. Now officially terminates her from the program, and Joyce leaves, still convinced that she is the victim. She had every opportunity, every tool and every chance, and she threw it all away.
Been bedbound close to 3 years now. I've never been to jail, but I feel like that's what I'm in, and it's horrible. And I'm at a point where I don't even know if I'll be able to walk again.
James is completely bedbound, describing his existence as being in jail. We see his girlfriend Lisa and his teenage daughter Bailey having to perform his most basic hygiene, a truly humiliating and difficult process. His legs are in a horrific state, leaking fluid from severe cellulitis, and he is in constant, agonizing pain. The level of dependency is off the charts. This isn't just a man struggling with his weight. This is a life that has completely collapsed, trapping everyone around him in its gravitational pull. The sheer misery is palpable.
I was able to reconnect with my real mom, and we finally started to have a relationship. And I felt like something that had been missing from my life wasn't missing as much anymore.
And here comes the backstory, the supposed root of all this chaos. At 15, James's world fell apart. He had just reconnected with his estranged mother, only for her to pass away from cancer a few months later. As if that weren't enough, on the day of her funeral, the family home burned to the ground, taking all of their possessions with it. It's an undeniably tragic story that sent him into a spiral of depression. Of course, his only coping mechanism was food. This is the clinical explanation for how his food addiction kicked into overdrive. But as we see, it has since become the all-encompassing excuse for a lifetime of self-destruction.
I've got you 6 eggs and about 5 or 6 pieces of sausage. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Mom, he really doesn't need that much, seriously.
That's what it takes to make him full, so.
This right here is the whole toxic dynamic on a plate. For breakfast, Lisa and Bailey are preparing James a feast fit for a small army. 6 eggs, multiple sausage patties, and at least 4 biscuits smothered in gravy. His daughter even questions the portion size, but Lisa's response is chillingly simple. That is what it takes to make him full and avoid a fight. She is a full-blown enabler, admitting that she brings him whatever he wants because it is easier than dealing with his anger. He's not just a patient, he's a tyrant ruling from his bed, and his family are his willing servants, delivering the poison on demand.
So if you're bedbound, then who is your enabler?
Lisa, my girlfriend.
So you're the one that bring in food. What's going on with its eating habit?
Dr. Now, the only voice of sanity in this whole business, gets in touch with them via a video call. He immediately cuts through the nonsense. He calls Lisa out directly, identifying her as the enabler who is bringing James the food that is killing him. When Lisa tries to explain that James gets angry, Dr. Now is merciless. He tells her point blank that she is helping to kill him and that she needs to stop immediately. This is Dr. Now at his best, a one-man wrecking crew against a fortress of delusion, laying down the law with brutal, necessary honesty.
Hey, baby, I got you a steak that's got a lot of fat on it. You said it makes it taste better.
It's been about a month since we started our online campaign, and we've only been able to raise a little over $300.
After all the drama, the health scares, and the life or death talk, what does James do? He continues to eat with reckless abandon. We see Lisa serve him a massive steak dinner, and his only concern is that it has enough fat on it for flavor. He openly admits he's depressed because his fundraising failed, so his solution is to eat whatever he wants because what's the point? This isn't a slip-up, this is a calculated act of defiance. He's throwing a pity party for himself, and the main course is pure self-sabotage. He has absolutely no intention of following the diet.
I'm so scared right now. My chest is killing me, and I feel like this is it. I've only cheated a couple times, so I don't know what the problem is. I thought I was doing better.
This is peak manipulation, everyone. After what he claims was a period of good behavior, James suddenly has a medical crisis. He's gasping for air, clutching his chest, and convinced he is dying. It is a full-blown meltdown. And what is his explanation for this sudden downturn? He claims he has only cheated a couple of times. A couple of times. The man has been eating non-stop. This doesn't seem to be a genuine health scare. It's perhaps a performance, a get-out-of-jail-free card for when his lies catch up to him. When the diet fails, create a new crisis to distract everyone.
And it will be like 4 ounces of meat. He does have a salad.
If we eat that, he should have shown on his body and lost a lot of weight, but he doesn't look like he lost much.
Dr. Now has had it. He shows up at James's apartment for a surprise visit, and the confrontation is nuclear. After learning James now weighs 840 pounds, a gain of over 100 pounds, he unloads on both him and Lisa. He calls their story mind-boggling and tells Lisa directly, "You are the one that got him in this bed." He dismisses James's laundry list of excuses about needing a nutritionist and retraining retraining his body. He is done with the lies, done with the games, and he tells them he is putting James back in the hospital immediately. This is the ultimate takedown of their entire toxic system.
Nothing so far has worked with James, and I'm not sure how I'm gonna get through to him at this point. But if I send him home right now, I am concerned that he's not gonna be able to survive much longer.
Here is the tragic, inevitable conclusion. After a year of lies, manipulation, and zero progress, Dr. Now gives James one final weigh-in. The result? He has gained weight again. Dr. Now finally drops the hammer and kicks him out of the program for good, telling him not to come back until he is under 600 pounds. And James's reaction? He is fired up to prove the doctor wrong. He has learned absolutely nothing. He still sees this as a battle against Dr. Now, not against his addiction. It's the ultimate wasted opportunity, a story not of struggle, but of a complete and total refusal to change.
Glad you're home?
Yeah, I'm glad.
Today we're gonna get you to sit up.
I'm twisted. Go slow. Go slow. Go slow.
Here is a brief and fleeting moment of hope after Dr. Now leaves James to his fate. The physical therapist comes to work with James, and for the first time in 3 years, they manage to get him into a seated position on the edge of the bed. It looks like a monumental victory, a real sign of progress. He even sends a message to his dad saying he loves him. But let's be real, it isn't a change of heart, it's a temporary change of scenery. The underlying delusion and manipulative mindset are still there, making this feel less like a breakthrough and more like a brief intermission before the actual disaster.